This illustration deals with non-coincidental loads in accordance with NEC 220.60. And a new sentence has been added to clarify that the value found in 220.18a is used when determining if a motor load is included in the load calculation when the motor is one of the non-coincidental loads. Now notice that is new there. We're talking about the motor being one of the non-coincidental loads. We're used to it, just some inspector says, we drop that out. It's a non-coincidental load, so we don't include that. But now notice, if we kind of review the information, we're looking at service conductors and the service equipment to the left, and we're looking at 220.60 and making an application of that rule to those service conductors. Now notice you have a heating unit there that's 20 kW, 240 volt single phase, and 220.51 said basically, at the service, you could figure 100% of that, but we're looking at non-coincidental loads here. So you drop down and also look at your AC unit, condenser motor, 15 kVA, 240 volt single phase, and 440.34 is a rule we would look at. And notice you would compare. So is the 20 kW larger than the 1000 VA? And you'd say, well, yes, it is. So you drop that load, see. But notice the 1200 VA would be taken, if that was the case for the unit, at 125%, so that'd be 1500 VA. And since the non-coincidental load is the air conditioner, we would tack 125% on to that 1500 VA, and we'd come up with 18.75 when you added the 125% load of 1500 VA to the condenser motor, the 1000 VA, and we'd come up with a total load there. So your largest motor then would be 1,875 VA. Now going over to the second boxed-in calculation, we're looking at a motor load which is 5 horsepower. Now how do we get that? We'll look at the above illustration. We have a pump motor that's 5 horsepower, 230 volts, single phase, and it happens to be the largest motor. So we would go to our table 430.248 of the code for single phase motors. The 5 horsepower would be basically 28 amps. Step 2, we calculate the amps. So 220.50 says we cannot tell you how to calculate a motor load. So if you have just one motor, you go to 430.22. 2 or more motors, say on a feeder or service, you go to 430.24. So 28 amps times 125% is 35. So the load, being a motor and not an air conditioner in this case, naturally would be 8400 VA when we take 35 amps to 240 and convert it over into VA. We'd have, I believe there, 8400 VA. And so the solution and the answer, the load would be 8400 VA. Now, notice now that if your motor is a non-coincidental load in accordance with 220.12, and it's the largest of the other motors that may be present, then you would calculate it. Now, the illustration to the right, it's not in the non-coincidental loads that you see here. And notice here you had an attic fan, you had a blower motor, you had an AC unit, and you could drop those 2 below because the heating load was larger than any of those. So the non-coincidental loads that you do not use in conjunction with the heating load, then you can drop it.